Welcome to this explainer. So, you're planning to study abroad in Taiwan? That is incredibly exciting. But let's be honest, you're probably feeling a little overwhelmed by the mountain of paperwork staring you down. Well, take a deep breath because today we are completely demystify the multi-agency bureaucratic process of securing your Taiwan student visa. We're going to break this whole thing down into short, highly manageable steps, specifically tailored so that even if you are a first-time applicant, you are going to know exactly what to do and when to do it. Before we get completely lost in the weeds of all those individual, personal, and educational documents, let's just take a step back. Here is your bird's eye view of the entire journey. From the moment you get your high school results, you'll spend about 1 to 2 weeks authenticating your documents. Then, you'll have a waiting period of 2 to 3 months for your university admission and health checks. After that, it takes about 1 week for the actual visa application. And finally, once you touch down in Taiwan, you have 30 days to get your residency card. Seeing it laid out like this proves it's really just a matter of taking it one step at a time. To keep things super structured for you, we're going to tackle this in 5 logical phases: document authentication, admission and health, the visa application, arriving in Taiwan, and finally, a total cost summary.
All right, let's jump right into phase 1, document authentication.
The clock starts ticking the very second your final Class 12 results are released. You gotta grab your certificates, your mark sheets, and your passport immediately. Now, you absolutely cannot skip ahead in this sequential flow. Using the pathway for students from Telangana as our primary example, you have to start local by getting notarized copies from a notary public. Unlocking that first step is what allows you to move up to the state level at the Telangana State Secretariat. From there, it gets bumped up to the national level at the MEA, and finally over to the Taiwanese representatives at the TECC. It's kind of like a video game. You have to beat one level to unlock the next. Now, it's super important to understand those 2 acronyms, the MEA and the TECC. Every single educational document you plan to submit must pass through both the Indian Ministry of External Affairs and the Taiwanese Taipei Economic and Cultural Center in Chennai to be considered legally valid. Think of them as the ultimate gatekeepers of your paperwork. When you finally hand your documents over to TEC Chennai, you'll need to pay them via a demand draft. You've got a choice to make here between 2 service tiers. The regular service takes 5 working days and costs 1,300 Indian rupees per document. But if you're in a rush, their express service cuts that wait down to 3 working days for 2,000 rupees. So you just have to decide if the extra speed is worth the cash for your specific timeline. Moving smoothly along to phases 2 and 3, admission and health. This next step is honestly all about patience. Between May and August, you essentially just have to wait until you receive your official admission letter and, hopefully, a scholarship letter from your chosen university in Taiwan. You absolutely cannot proceed to the medical stage until this crucial piece of paper is in your hands. But the moment that admission letter hits your inbox, it is clinic time. You'll need a comprehensive physical exam, a chest x-ray, and tests for both HIV and syphilis. Now, here is the real kicker. Just taking the tests isn't the end of the story. The resulting health certificate you get from the doctor has to go through the exact same authentication process we just talked about. It has to be attested by the MEA and authenticated by Tech Chennai. That's going to add a few extra days to your timeline and cost an additional 1,500 to 3,000 rupees. Next up, phase 4, the actual visa application. First things first, you'll fill out, print, and sign the online form directly from the Taiwanese BOCA website. Then you submit it to Tech Chennai. Once again, they give you a choice on processing speeds. Standard processing takes just 2 working days and runs you 5,600 rupees. But if you're on a super tight schedule and want a rapid 1-day turnaround, you can opt for the express service at 8,400 rupees. All right, let's synthesize everything. Here is your final master checklist of personal and educational documents. It's a big one. Your passport, photos, admission and scholarship letters, a study plan, your CV, financial proof, those authenticated educational and health documents, and your English or Chinese language certificates. I know, looking at this massive list might feel incredibly intimidating right now, but remember, you've actually already spent the earlier phases gathering and authenticating almost all of this stuff. You're really just putting it all into one neat folder at this point. Let's talk money for a second, because this is absolutely crucial. To prove you can financially support yourself during your studies, you have to provide bank certificates or statements showing a minimum balance equivalent to $6,000 to $8,000 US dollars. Now, if you manage to score a full scholarship, your scholarship letter definitely helps cover this requirement, but having that solid personal financial backing is key to getting approved. Almost at the finish line. Let's look at Phase 5, arriving in Taiwan. Listen closely, because this is quite literally the most practical piece of advice in this entire explainer. Pack all of your original, fully authenticated documents in your carry-on bag. Do not, under any circumstances, pack these originals in your checked luggage. If your suitcase accidentally gets routed to another country, you are in big trouble, because you're going to need those exact documents on hand the second you arrive for clearing immigration and enrolling at university. Keep them right by your side. Once you've cleared the airport and dropped your bags at your new dorm, you have one absolute highest priority. You must apply for your ARC, which stands for Alien Resident Certificate. This is basically your official ID card while you live in Taiwan. You have exactly 30 days from the moment you touch down to apply for this at the National Immigration Agency, and it's going to cost about 1,000 new Taiwan dollars. Seriously, whatever you do, do not miss this 30-day deadline.
Let's wrap this all up with a fully transparent, estimated total cost summary.
I highly recommend hitting pause right here and taking a quick screenshot of this table. It maps out exactly what you should expect to spend, from the 500 rupees at the local notary, weaving through the MEA and TEC authentications, paying for the health clinic, all the way to the final visa fee itself. Having this breakdown allows you to budget incredibly accurately for every single step of this journey, without any nasty surprises.
So, what is the grand total? Depending on whether you play it cool with regular service or speed things up with express processing at the various offices, your absolute maximum estimated cost for this entire paperwork marathon is going to be roughly 28,000 Indian rupees. When you realize that this is what it takes to secure your future education abroad, having a clear, upfront financial target makes the planning process so much easier.
See? Breaking this complex, multi-agency monster down step by step completely proves that studying abroad isn't impossible. It just requires a little bit of organization, some patience, and a really clear plan. Now that you have the complete roadmap to confidently conquer all this paperwork from start to finish, I want you to think ahead. What is the absolute first thing you want to study or experience when you finally land in Taiwan? Keep that exciting goal in the back of your mind as you start gathering up your documents today. Thanks for joining us for this explainer, and best of luck on your incredible adventure.